everyone. You know what? I'm going to do a different intro. I'll probably still keep what I had said at the beginning, but just because as I was going through things, I was talking about different little products that I use here and there, and maybe you guys are interested in that. So I'll have the links for those things. There will be linked to Amazon for products that I use like in the garden, and those will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you were to purchase items through those links. Things like Captain Jack, More Bloom, the fish fertilizer I use, the sprayer I use for those things, just some basic stuff. And also, this video ended up being all over the place because I start in the front yard and I come inside. I made a recipe. Like, I didn't really go through the whole recipe with you guys, but I did use some of the bok choy that I have here to make a little recipe today. And I just went through my whole yard, garden, edible garden, basically. Pretty much almost everything is edible here. The only reason I have flowers is because I've added them now that my husband it wasn't there to tell me not to buy flowers at the nursery. He says if we can't eat it, he doesn't want it. Anyway, sorry. What I was going to mention, and I guess because I forget people, you know, I've had these videos, I do them like every couple months. I use everything organic, so EB Stone, you know, whatever companies that just make organic products, that's what I use. So again, if it's a spray for bugs, if it's not water, you know, it's going to be different things, but so whatever I have linked there should be organic or OMRI certified or whatever, but we will see. So anyway, all right, let's get started. Okay, so it's pretty early in the morning, but I want to show you guys my garden starting off in spring. I have everything planted out, I think. I'll probably add more stuff because that's what I do, but I realized I never really show you guys the front of the house. I do have a little bit of a shade garden on this other side, just some pretty flowers, but that's okay. We don't need to look at that. It's past on that side of the garage there. There's like a Japanese something or other that's really pretty that lives in the shade, but anyhow, I just planted out some mint because it grows well there anyway. Just some cute little things I have in pots, but I do want to show you some of the things that I have in the front yard that are edible kind of landscape things. So here I have a big fig, and I think I've shown you that before, but she's gotten much bigger. I need to pull those little weeds out. It's a panache or tiger fig or panache, it depends on who you're asking. And she always does really well up here because it gets the most sun. Because once the sun comes up over the house, it's like just sun on that thing forever. But what I want to show you is some of these guys. There and there. So we'll get a little bit closer even though it's very dewy this morning. What I'll do is I'll show you some of this front and side garden, and then I'm going to show you the rest later in the evening because it's so harsh and bright. The sun basically comes up behind my house. And so in the backyard it's really sunny right now, even though it's, you know, like 6:30 in the morning. I do want to show you that I put this in my landscape. So this is a Satsuma, a dwarf Satsuma. This is the second year she'll be here in the ground. When we bought her, we put her directly in the ground. Sometimes we put things in pots and see how they do. We have gophers, I'll talk about that in a minute. And we have grubs. Sometimes when I dig things up, there'll be grubs in there, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I did pick up some beneficial nematodes. I have not used them yet, but I will. I keep saying I will. You have to like let them soak for like an hour before you pour them into your ground. And they eat grubs. Well, they kill grubs. So anyway, the Satsuma's going off, and she is, all this little light green, beautiful growth is brand new just the last couple weeks. And her little flowers are opening up. So she had some fruit last year, so I'm sure this year will be even better. I need to deadhead this guy. It's kind of wasted there. This is a Tangelo. And I don't think this one's a dwarf. It might be. Usually we get dwarf varieties, but this will be really pretty if you can imagine growing bigger and then just having all its fruit, right? The two. My husband even wants to put one at the end, get rid of that palm there, and put one there, but we will see. So this is a Tangelo, and this we put her right in the ground, but this is her first season really to make flowers and leaves for us, so we'll see how it goes. When we got it, she already had some fruit and it was really yummy, so I think she'll be okay. I do see some, no, okay. I thought I saw some like black kind of moldy looking stuff, but no, it's good. So you just always keep an eye on your plants, and at the beginning of the season I just gave her some citrus, organic citrus fertilizer, and then I do a liquid feed with some More Bloom and fish fertilizer, and this is what happened in the last week or two since that happened. Oh, I have this beautiful, I bought it because I thought supposedly it was a bird of paradise, and this thing is not a bird of paradise. Actually, was this one of them? It might have been. It was really tiny when I bought it, that's why it can be confusing, but I think this is a bird of paradise, but the Regine variety, the big one that turns black and white flowers instead of like colorful flowers like this one might have. So this is not something I typically do on my channel, but I do like to update you guys on my garden. So yesterday my son mowed the lawn. That's another reason I was like, okay, let's get out there and show. These were little baby daffodils, but now they're gone. And I put this here so he would know not to mow over my lilies that are coming up here now. Supposed to be an Easter lily, is way past Easter and they're barely going. And then I have pomegranates here. So this is pretty much my craft room is right inside that window. And so these are 2 pomegranates and hopefully they'll get nice and big. Of course in the winter they die out, like the leaves all fall off. But what I'm hoping is that, you know, during the summer once it gets really big it'll shade out some of this area and be cooler in my craft room even than it is right now. It's pretty good. And she's already getting pomegranates. This is a different variety than this one. This is a Parfianca, and this is a wonderful, like your basic pomegranate. I can see the Parfianca also has a little pomegranate growing there. And she'll get many, many more. And don't be afraid to plant your things like this close. It's not a big deal. It just depends on how you manage them, right? So let's go to the backyard. Lots of birds you hear here. So, this is my side yard. Oh, I can see roly-polies already. And I see some ants too. That's not good. But either way, these are 2 Gopher-Proof garden beds that we made 3 years ago now? No. Maybe almost 3 years ago. I want to say this is like the 3rd growing season. So 2 years ago, this is the 3rd growing season, like going into this spring. And, Gopher-Proof, right, is what I was telling you. Look at these holes. There's another hole right here. It's just covered up because I think he was probably a little bit active in trying to eat there. And not for lack of trying. You can see that they were trying to get in here. Even on the side, I have this garden soil there now. But did not get into my bed. So I think that's pretty good for 3 years going on. That's still keeping them out. It's basically just... I just went to Home Depot. Okay, how long do you sell these things, right? These boards. So I think those are 12 feet. And then I said, okay, so give me 2 and then cut the other one in half. So 6 feet. So these are 12 by 6 feet garden beds, both of them. And just drill them together on the very ends. If you can see, there's some hardware patio like drill screws and just screwed together, and those are gopher traps. And actually somebody here on YouTube had recommended them last time I mentioned it, the Gopher Hawk. Those are awesome. I got them on Amazon. I suppose if you care about that, I'll have links for them in the description box, and so I will have the at the beginning talking about affiliate links in writing. That means I will make a small commission if you purchase items through those links, okay? But I just revamped all these. Basically kale has been growing there, but this I put in some blueberries. I already had this little guy from last year and he stayed kind of small. He was in a small pot, and so I thought, you know what, since my husband is deployed right now and I don't want to, I mean pulling the weeds was ridiculous, so we just let these things do their own thing. Like they went feral, so like you can see there's still grass coming through, and I'll pull that as I go along. But that took me 4 solid weekends to really pull the grass as much as I did, so I'm just gonna keep maintaining it from now on. Topped it off with some new garden soil and then wood chips, the whole thing. So I bought 2 more blueberries to go in there with her, and what I'm going to do is just let it get acidic. I'm going to put my little blueberry fertilizer that has something in there to get more acidic, and just let it keep growing here because I don't care. But I did plant in some other things near it. So beets, we'll see when they start coming up because I only did this like 2 days ago. Chives, I made a card that reminded me of root vegetables, so I thought, oh, I'll go do that. Some chives along here, turnips in there, and radish over there. I don't know if the turnips are going to come up. They should. Supposedly in my area, I live in San Diego, I should have said at the beginning. I think it's 10A or 10B or 11 something. It's San Diego, so I mean, we can grow for a long time. This kale has been here for 2 years, and I've talked to you guys about this before. If you want it to look all cute, because you think 2 years is going to be huge, right? Just chop it back. See this piece right here is a piece of kale? It was a huge guy. He was going to seed, and I didn't really want the seed yet, because I'll collect seed. That's fine, but not right now. Just cut it off. Just cut it off. Like this one, you can kind of see that I've done that a couple times already. I don't know if you can see there. That's from before. Actually, this is from before the first time. Oops, over here. And it'll just start growing back, and it looks yummy and beautiful and cute. And these guys, look at that. I mean, I chopped this way back, and there he is. And we're early in the season, so nothing's eating them yet. And I just decided the other day to do something different in between these two, because it's usually grass that I can't really mow and I can't really get in there. So I'm going to put this cardboard down. I'm going to put down some landscaping cloth I have in the garage. And I am going to put some stones on here and just keep it maintained so that grass doesn't come up through here. And that way it's easy to just kind of walk through the garden beds and everything. Zucchinis, squash, yes, there's a ton of them, and look how well they're doing. I like to densely pack things in, so however you want to do it in your garden, that's great. Along here I did put in some peas, so I'm waiting for them to come up. You know what I'm saying, to sprout, so that's nothing right now. There's a manzanillo, tomatillo, I keep saying manzanillo, tomatillo in there. She's just a little baby. Last year I only had one plant. She did really well, and from that one plant I was making lots of salsa, so not a big deal. I have some dill that I bought as a start because my cucumbers usually do really well, and I always end up pickling like every other day. So this is all the cucumbers I bought this year. Maybe I'll plant some more later, just some succession planting, because one of them died already. That was right here. I pulled it out of the little thing, and basically the whole root came off with it. I was like, no, it was just a little stump in my hand, you know. So in each spot I have two. So there's two. So it'll be fine. And then they'll grow up this trellis, which is just a tomato cage that I didn't put together as a cage, and I just stuck it together. This is literally the third year, like I said, season going in. They're just stuck together with like bread twist ties that I had. I don't know, from packaging, I think, from something else that I bought that was garden related. And they're holding on really well. So peas will go up this way, cucumbers will go up this way, and they might meet each other and go on the other side. That's fine. Sweet 100, which always goes ridiculous and does really well, tomato. And then that's a green zebra, and there were two in the pot, so I just planted them both real deep, and there they are. Lemongrass I only put in last year, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully they'll take off. My peppers are coming back that overwintered. There's 3 like sweet peppers there, like bell peppers basically. I threw in some nasturtium seeds in here. There's some strawberries over there for why not. Oh, and my little peaches and nectarines. So we'll look at this last, like right now, and then later when the sun is not as harsh, we'll look at the rest of the garden. It's just a little bit too harsh right now. Ice cream bean that I just have in a pot. It's a certain kind of plant. You can check it out. I've done videos on that before because I have basically some subtropical plants in here. Passion fruit vine, again, it's getting really bright over there. So let's look at these little guys. This is a pixie miniature, it's called a peach. It's a dwarf peach. This one I bought it last year was bare root, and I don't think I got any fruit from her because it was just like after the season. I always end up buying these things at the wrong time, and then I have to take care of them the whole season, that they're not blooming or making fruit. But look at her. Her little peaches came out really well. I have pictures on Instagram. I mean, I probably had to thin it out, but it's not too bad. So I think we're okay just with what's on here. So I'll have several peaches. I was really happy to see that because you never know if you have enough chill hours for peaches. So you have to get a peach or a nectarine or stone fruit that works in your climate, right? This little girl, this is our 3rd season with her, and she always gives off fruit. I know, look at, she's like not even maybe a foot high in what she has here, but she always puts out tons of fruit, and you can see they're there and they hold on, and then the squirrels steal them, and it's just the whole thing. But I did thin it out quite a bit though, because she put out a bunch of, like this one right here, there's 3 in one. You can't have that, so I'm gonna pinch that off. I know it hurts my heart to do it, but even this one has the 2-in-1, but that one is staying kind of small, so I think I'm just gonna leave it and let it grow kind of funky. But she did a lot of that this year, a lot of double blooms, so it's like, what are you gonna do? And this is the first year this nectarine has done anything, so I've had this one for a while. Again, I think this is for the 3rd year. I've just been taking care of her the 1st year, and then the 2nd season. Now we're going into the 3rd season with her, and there they are, look it, and they're holding on. So that's so awesome. I love that. And not a ton, but you know, they're little plants, and I don't really know how to trim them because I don't have the heart to cut them back. But you're supposed to cut them back really badly. You know, we'll get to it. I'll learn more about that, and I'll do that. But I just like to keep her, and she's espaliered. I don't know if you can tell. She's very skinny. So if you wanted to put her like by a fence, you could do that and just keep it trimmed the way it is. That's how I bought her, but I'll probably start letting her branch out and doing her own thing. Okay. Oh, just real quick, the passion fruit. This thing was, I don't know if you remember, I don't know if I put out the video. I do have a video talking about it though. There's a couple that are ready to go almost. I just like to let them fall off. So this is a little guy. This is a small variety, Nancy Garrison, and then So Pretty. And then over here, oh, it's still there. Okay, these blooms only open for 1 day. And this opened last night, kind of late. So I thought it was kind of interesting. I took a picture of this for Instagram because this is a bud that hasn't opened yet. This is one that opened on Easter. And I don't know if you can see this little thing right here is basically the center of the flower. So the fruit is already there in the flower. It's just super tiny. That little bulb you can kind of see behind this structure. And then this one opened just a couple days ago, so it's doing its thing, and see that structure is there, and the fruit is stuck right behind it. And then this is the flower. I'm so excited about that. Let me take a picture of it right now. All right. Yeah, and so she's going off. I mean, she has lots of buds ready to go, and she's just coming out of a pot. There's one going this way, there's one going the other way. That's a gopher trap. And so that's what I have going there. I'll come back later in the evening so we can, again, look at the sun. I mean, beautiful, but it's just so harsh. Everything looks so awesome in spring. I love this. I'm in my element here, guys. So yeah, I'll come back later in the afternoon. Before the evening comes, I'll show you my little Nasturtium real quick, because it's gonna be 85 degrees today, and I don't know if it's gonna knock these guys out because of the heat, because of the sun itself. I'm not gonna shade them. They are pretty shady. I don't know if you can tell, like there's a lot of shade the way it just kind of covers this area, but I did cover my bok choy down there. That's what that big drape is. But these guys are gonna get beat up possibly, so I just want to show you how pretty they are. I don't know if you can look at the colors on those. And Miranda comes out here and picks whatever she wants and just eats them. These are two different colors, two different types. Red velvet, and then I forgot what the other ones are called. But I planted 3 seeds on this side, 3 seeds on the other side, and they just keep coming back every year and more awesome all the time. And you can see these are like little baby ones, so that one just started sprouting. It's tiny. And the leaves will get bigger, and Nasturtium are peppery. I kind of call them like horseradish. Like these guys, they start spreading out, because literally I planted 3 seeds there and 3 seeds there, and now they're everywhere. Going, and because you know birds, or they just move around. The seeds, it drops seeds all the time towards the end of that flowers, or that little clump's life. That's my little nursery note plate. It doesn't look so great, but those are basically dragon fruit cuttings that I'm letting stay in the shade to root, and then once they're rooted I'll put them out. And then there's a fig there, a fig twig. But I can show you kind of what the nasturtium. The reason I'm talking about these is because they're so easy to grow and they're so awesome and they taste yummy. Miranda comes out here, gets her flowers, and just eats them. This is what I want to show you. This is the end of a flower, and there's 3 seeds right there, and they'll dry up and they'll fall into here, and then you know next year maybe they'll sprout or maybe they won't. But there's, I mean, you can see they've sprouted, because if you look at, there's just tons here. What's interesting is that came off of a flower, but they also put out just seeds just to put out seeds. So there's a couple different ways. Like this one is just a little seed that's just made itself. It didn't come from a flower. So it has a few different ways to put out seeds, is what it seems like. That's what I've been noticing. I don't know if maybe I'm a crazy person, I don't know. But I did want to show you these before the sun beats them up, because like see here, this also didn't come off of a flower. It's just, oopsie, seed pods. But at the very end of the flower, if you don't eat it, it will also make little seeds. So very interesting. There's more of them over there. Actually, these are getting older, so you'll see they start drying up. They're not as green anymore, and it'll dry up and fall off and be there for next time. Okay, look at my little sweetie. He's holding some Coleus Kong, I think it's called, but I have 2 different ones. I don't know if you can see how pretty that is in this one. Love it. Gorgeous. So this video is going to be all over the place, because like I said, I was going to come back in the evening. I just want to show you my little burro, and he has his little saddlebags holding his little flowers. And supposedly with this one, or leaves, whenever it shoots out like flower stems, you should cut them off, because really it's the leaves that are like the prettiest. I've never seen their flowers, so I have no idea, but look at all those new little, maybe in there you can see. It's doing real well. It's a shade-loving plant. But anyway, I said I was going to come back in the evening, and I am, but since it's going to be kind of hot today, and I already feel it's hot. Now I'm talking about San Diego hot. So like today it's going to be 84, 85, and I think it's like going to fry me. But when I live in Fresno or other parts of California, or, you know, when the military had us in Georgia, I mean 100 degrees, 110, you know, that's what I was used to. So I guess now look at that lizard. Look. We have lizards all over the place. That's not the only one. There was another one that went in another direction. And I love that, because they eat, you know, bugs that we don't like around or whatever. They just do their thing. I think I'm still going to come back in the evening, but what I wanted to show you is I have my bok choy here covered up with a little shade cloth, because I knew it was going to be hot today. But when I came out earlier, you know, some of it's a little bit eaten and things, and I noticed that the little flowers are starting to bloom. So this one, this particular one, oopsie, I'll get under the shade cloth, is starting to bolt basically to make the little flowers. I can leave it sitting there, make some seeds. I can use the seeds later, next year, whatever. Oh, there's a weed here. See, nasty little thing. I just replaced or topped off this bed with some new mulch, so hopefully that won't come back. But I do see some grass with seeds right there. Anyway, so this little bok choy right here, there's like 3, 4, 5 plants in each little bunch. I don't know if you can see, this one's kind of separate. I did buy it as a starter. I didn't start these from seeds. And then this one too. So this one was the biggest one of the bunch that I'm touching right now. There's one behind it. There's another couple behind that one. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and I do that pick and come again type method. So like this looks pretty good to me, and obviously it's going to go to seed. So what happens when things go to seed, sometimes they don't taste as good. Sometimes they're not going to kill you. They just might be more fibrous. You know, with your basil it's going to be maybe bitter or whatever kind of off taste it has. So this guy might be the same, I don't know. But what I'm going to do is just, I usually take a scissor, but since I'm just holding my camera, I'm just going to, from the very base, just tear it. I'm going to take this guy inside. This guy has a little bit of chewiness. Something ate it. There's something on there right now. It looks like aphids, possibly. I'm just going to clean this up, grab pieces off of it, maybe grab some pieces back there. So just because later when I come back through, this is going to be picked down, and then you're going to say, hey, she didn't even have anything. But no, I did. It's just, you know, I picked it down. I'm going to make a stir fry with some oyster sauce and some ginger, garlic, and maybe some Chinese like cooking wine, vinegar, something like that, cooking wine. We'll see. It'll be good. Which also leads me to my next thing is I have not put any kind of animal or insect repellents on anything or killers. I use Captain Jack. Again, I'll have the link for that one too. It works awesome. So a lot of times you just wash them off. Like I can't, it's hard for me to get under the leaves to wash things off. So obviously I've been neglecting this little plant actually. So I'm gonna clean it up, give it some sprays, and I'll see you guys in the evening. For a random video, I have the bok choy. I did cut the larger ones in half, like down the middle, but they're all pretty big. So yeah, I'm just gonna cook that down in a super hot wok. I have a little, I'm gonna add a little mirin because I don't know what I did with my Chinese cooking wine, and then a little oyster sauce. I'm gonna add some aromatics like ginger and stuff, but first I'm going to cook this down. There's no oil in here. I'm just cooking this down until it cooks down a little bit. I'll take it out. I'll throw in some garlic, chopped garlic, some fresh ginger, let that cook a little bit. Add this back in, add some of those sauces I just showed you, and that's it. Super easy.
Yummy, yummy.
Okay guys, this is about the time of day I was waiting for. It's about 6 o'clock. It gets louder as we wait here because I live off of a busy street in the backyard. You know, this backyard, there's a busy road back there. But anyway, so we had finished off looking at some other things. I ate my little sauteed veggies or stir-fried veggies. So good. So let's just start over here and then we'll go that way, I suppose. I do have some things I try to keep decorative over here. Obviously I have my little tools out right now because I've been working and doing other things. But, oh, real quick, I'll show you the fairy garden. This is something, my nieces actually, when they visited for Easter, they helped me revamp this because it was getting real sad. Like this little decorative chili, we dropped this chiles and Miranda put them in the little pot. So now the fairies are eating those. And then we've added in some fun things. Just in the little fairy garden there. And in the back, there was a little fern I just had to get, so the little fern's back there. So hopefully it'll grow big enough to kind of stick out. We'll see. I don't know. And then, of course, whenever you go to a nursery like Green Thumb Nursery over here in San Marcos, California, I can't just leave with a few little things. I picked up some other pretty things. We'll talk about that in a minute. Well, let's just look at this. So this is kind of my citrus row. It had more trees, and then I got some in the ground. So instead of being in pots, I put them in the ground. This is a little fig that I started from a cutting that I had ordered like online a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, last season. Maybe 2 years ago. Yeah, it might be 2 years old already. Because that first season, you're really just letting it root and do its thing, and then it starts growing, and here it is again. This is a calamondin. It's a really, really sour citrus. I don't want to say orange because it's a calamondin, but I know it's a cross between a couple different things, but we just use it to marinate like meat for carne asada and stuff like that because it's really sour, I think. It's used a lot in Filipino cooking, and they use it for like different little dipping sauces and stuff. But anyway, There's that. This is a pink lemonade, variegated lemon. I think it's either a Meyer or Eureka lemon. It came from a sport like a long time ago, and then they just kept making more and more of the trees. And every year she makes tons of little lemons like this, and I don't know if you can tell. It's hard to tell. It's variegated. You can tell in some of the leaves. Usually it's in the wood. You can kind of see it's like yellow and green. But, and then they all fall off. So hopefully this year some will stay on. It looks better this year. She would get scale real bad. And apparently a lot of these variegated varieties are a little more problematic. This is a mandarin. I forget which type because we have had tons of them. A couple of them have died on us. This is the dwarf mandarin honey. This is the first year that she has kept all these guys. I was just trying to think for you guys. I looked up in the meantime. I am in 10A, USDA, zone or whatever, and so we have some that ready to go. There are some new ones. Hopefully you can kind of see. They're like mid-size, maybe in there. And then she has some new flowers coming on. So that's typical right now. Again, I haven't had anything off of her, so that's really great to have those. And there's little bees visiting me right now. I don't know if you can see her in there. Oh, she's in there somewhere. But yeah, I love opening the door and just smelling all of this citrus. And this is a Meyer lemon, and they are juicy, and usually I have more than this, so I've already picked a couple. Even being in its pot, it puts out plenty. I don't know if you can see there's some like growing like this guy, and then new flowers plus the old one that's almost ready to be picked. She has looked better. These winds that are windy right now even, but the Santa Ana winds broke her, so I had a whole branch which just broke off, so that's kind of why I have it strapped up like this, but she probably doesn't need it anymore. Some cute little air plants. This video is going to be long, I can tell already. So these are some palms I've had since like we moved here. I just did not get them in the ground. The ground here is so hard and clay and just dry and just horrible in some places. So anyway, I just have those. We'll see. I just put this fern in the other day, and I'm not kidding you, she's already doubled in size. I got it from, again, the Green Thumb Nursery. She must love where she is, because she was so small. Which is good, but at the same time kind of scary. This is a lemon guayaba. If you have a chance to get a lemon guayaba, get a lemon guayaba. It is so good. They make little guayabas about this big. They're a little tangy, a little sweet. And look at this. I haven't pruned it. I don't even know what to do with it yet. And she's growing all new. And all these little buds you see here are all guayabas. So everywhere. And I'll show you why I'm so impressed, because I have other guayaba trees that aren't as prolific. I'll show you. So this one we did put this in last year. Well, not even last year, like at the end of last year. So, she's just doing her thing. I'm just going to let her go wild. This is my ice cream bean, and I know in a video I showed you guys one time when it was windy with the Santa Ana winds that it just got battered. It was moving around, so I didn't follow up with that. So as you can see, she's beautiful. She's getting thick here. Anything that wasn't protected by this fence was just stripped. Like, just ridiculous. It would look like this, like these little sticks. All the leaves fell off. So now she's topping up here. She's growing really slow, but we are just coming out of winter, so hopefully it'll just pick up, because this tree supposedly can get as big as like that tree that's there. Makes ice cream beans, and they're fun, so I really want her to work. I showed you another ice cream bean in that pot, and I got them the same day, potted them up the same day. This one I just didn't put in the ground, and look how small she is compared to that guy. So hopefully it'll keep going. That's a longan I picked up at Exotica Nursery nearby. It has also grown quite a bit, so that's really great. I have a lot of trouble watering her. I don't want to put her in the ground though, so I think I just need to put her in a bigger pot. Just beautiful palms, whatever these things are again. Little honeysuckle I stuck back there last year, and she's going crazy. She always wants to grab these guayabas. Now these guayabas look horrible, but if I look really close, I can see that they're starting to come back. This is on there from last season. I should probably just knocked it off, but I just wanted to see if they might still grow. Who knows? If anything, it's probably holding the tree back because it's such a young tree. And there's another guayaba, so that's a Mexican, no, what does it say? Yeah, that's Mexican cream guayaba. And then this one is a Malaysian, and she looks so bad. Oh, I feel so bad for her. And she also has a couple, but you know what's funny is that these were tiny today, so they are growing. Interesting. So I'll leave them. But she's also coming back. Look at all this new growth right in here and at the top. So again, I didn't trim these because I don't know how to trim them, but she is bringing back a lot of her vegetation, so that's great. Just nothing. These things, what are they called? I always forget, and I say the wrong name. I think I call them marigolds, but they're not. What are they called? Anyway, once it pops in my mind, it was actually in this planter. When we moved here, these people had nothing back here. They had that planter with like a bunch of those guys in it, geraniums. And then they had that planter over there, that big guy with a whole bunch of geraniums in it. Those looked really bad, so I pretty much just pulled them out I just kept them there. I was watering them, but I'm like, why am I even watering these things? So I pulled those out, and then just before my husband left, look, there's another little bee. She loves her little citrus. Sorry about the harsh light again. If I keep waiting, it's going to get dark, so I didn't want to wait too long, but there's that little bee. She's just hanging out. Let's see if I can get in and on her. There she is. I told my husband, let's just get rid of these things. So it's hard dirt in here. This soil is like hard, but it's also clay. Like I can't even explain it. It's the worst. And then too, we have these huge palms. I had a Mexican palm probably last time you saw in that corner, and in that other corner, and they were gorgeous, but they were huge, and I just didn't want to keep trimming them. So these are some other type of palm, whatever they're called. And they don't take as much care. At least it's a little slower. Either way, I told my husband, well, just pull it up out of there, because when we pulled it up, it was a big old clump of this stuff, right? So I was like, let me try to dig. So all he did was shave off whatever, you know, move this stuff out of the way, the wood chip that we have there, and just scrape the top of the dirt, because like it's so hard, it's ridiculous. And then we just plopped it down and then just kind of put the wood chips back. I'm like, if it lives, good. You know, I don't mind if this thing fills up everything in here. I don't really care. I want something in here because I think it's pretty, right, to have stuff, but it's so hard to plant anything. And this thing is going crazy, and that was just months ago. Look at all this new growth. I mean, all these little guys. So apparently it found its way. I just water it and it's fine. So this is a Algerian tangerine, and she goes off. So Algerians are basically like the halos and like those little tangerines you find at the grocery store. Because they're easy to peel and they're cute, and so cuties, I guess, is another one. Oh, look at this one split. Oh no. Actually, I'm just gonna pull that off because there's no reason to have that. She just goes off. Look at all the flowers, and she'll hold on to a lot of them, so it's really nice. So we put her in here, let her live there. Some cactuses and aloe and things like that. This is a miwa kumquat, basically, and this is like my favorite kumquat in the world. It is so tasty. Let me see if I can get this guy. I'll rinse it off. I'll wipe it off on my pant leg here. Oh my gosh. So usually kumquats are like sour, and you know, on the inside they have the sweetness, on the outside. Miwa, oh, I almost dropped it. I don't want to drop that because this is the end of her this season, so she needs to get the new ones on. But she was so tiny too when I bought it. Literally was a twig. So things grow, guys. It just, you know, takes them a while. So good. Couple of seeds that I definitely spit out in the lawn. Okay, there's another kumquat. I think this is just Nagami? No. You know what? This one just says Lucky Fruit. It's a Fortunella one. So this is another kumquat. This is the kind that's their typical super sour in the center. My husband prefers these. The miwa, I'm telling you, are my favorite. Let me finish this guy off. I'm not even going to open that one because they're the kind I used to eat when I was little. And I just remember eating the peel, and I would throw the rest away. Little strawberries that kind of grew out of the pot, got themselves grounded. Look at that. I love that because I want things to just fill in here that I don't have to actually dig. That's why we have pots here, because it's impossible. This is the Nagami kumquat with gladiolas that came back way too strong this year. I'm going to take them out because they're just going to fill this whole thing up, and I don't know how this little guy's going to make his roots. So he's already starting his new growth to do his season. They usually have like 2 seasons, all the kumquats, like winter and spring. But either way, she's starting up her new growth, which is awesome. Blueberries that are coming back strong, and apparently I get them pretty early in the season because a lot of people are like, hey, mine are barely doing anything. This guy is like loaded down, and he'll do more. He'll do another, you know, just as long as the season's going. This guy too, he doesn't look that great. I don't know what happened to a lot of his foliage, but he's still making a lot of his blueberries, so I'm good with that. More strawberries. Again, these strawberries have been here. This is the 3rd year, basically, 3rd season. So they do their thing. I have some more that planted themselves in there. I have some in here. Nasturtium didn't do too bad. I mean, you know, you saw them this morning. This one looks a little worse for the wear. For it being 85 degrees today, it was pretty darn hot, you guys. And then the guys over there that are mostly shaded look way better than these guys that got the full sun on this side. Big old bougainvillea that we always just cut. We don't even take care of this thing. We just like trim it back, and that's how it looks. Okay, let me back up though. Fig alley, alright? Basically, these are figs that I've grown from cuttings. This one is actually from the Home Depot, but these are from cuttings. These are Chicago Hardy. They stay small because I have them in this small pot, and they make figs, no problem. So, it takes a little while. This one's really soft actually, so it might fall off because they shouldn't be that soft to begin with. I have a bunch of junk back there, sorry guys. I've been working like these little things I need to get into the garage, put away. Fuchsia is coming back. I had 2 of them. One died over it. You know, they're not supposed to be yearly things, or it depends where you live, I suppose. But look at the little flowers are coming back, and she's doing okay. Petunia? Begonia? I don't know. Something like that. I just picked up recently. Impatiens, which was too pretty. Miranda's like, you have to get that. So I have that there. Got my little salad bin. I usually do salad like in a raised garden bed, but last year we had a heat spike like we have right now. The little heat wave came through, and literally within 3 days of being planted, it just bolted. And I was like, I'm not gonna do that again. So this one's kind of scaring me. He looks a little bit tall, but hopefully they'll be okay. And I also put some seeds in here to make more when these guys start dying out. I have seeds coming up, and so we have salad stuff. And then we usually just use that in our sandwiches. We just come out and grab some, put in the sandwich. Look at this little guy. So pretty. Picked him up at Green Thumb also. Thyme that's been here for years and years. Some other items. But anyway, figs. Alright, so lots of different types of figs. They just started leafing out. This one does not look great. I think it's going to fall off. Anyway, this is Peter's Honey, who is tiny but always puts out fruit. Just like the other little peach I showed you guys. Like ridiculous fruit. This one is another Panache Tiger fig, and look how pretty this is, even though the one in the front yard isn't doing it. This is how they should look. See, the one I just showed you look a little wrinkly. He shouldn't look like that as a baby. It should be like really firm like this. So that one's gonna be good. That's a Breba crop. It's the first crop before the actual crop, so I'm not too concerned. I don't care if those just fall off. This is how can I forget? The green Isha. Oh, this one's so good, and she's been so shysty. She only gives me like 2 or 3 figs a year, and it's probably my favorite fig. Really pretty. It's a green fig, but it's really red and jammy on the inside. Black Mission, and Black Mission is just your basic fig, you know, not to, she's awesome. It's great. That's fine. Pretty fig. Here's another one. This is the Black Jack fig. And I had to look that up because I didn't know, but see, he's gonna put down his little Breba. Well, there should be more coming. These literally just leafed out, so I don't know what they're doing with figs already. This is, Violette de Bordeaux. She is delicate. She hasn't given me any kind of fruit, and I'm just working with her, but look at this. Even this right now, she's well watered, and look how droopy this is. I've never seen that, so I think I might cut that off. It might be too much growth, like what she has going on for what's in the pot. And here's another thing I just want to mention about pots. We try to keep the garden nice because it is our backyard. Not that it's like always pristine or something, but like you see all these pots, we potted these all last year, even though they were in different stages of like how big they were. So they all look nice and pretty. So if you're looking, you know, you come out, oh, beautiful, right? And then, you know, in the winter, they're obviously just sticks in the deep winter. But I have some more of them over there, figs. So we try to keep it nice. So whatever I up-potted, I use the smaller pots and you put those guys in them, up-potted those twigs from, you know, growing them from twigs, basically. I say twigs, but it's cuttings. Okay, so that's just another thing I want to mention, because I think what happens is you start gardening and then, oh, I like this and I like that, and then your garden starts looking kind of crazy because you start doing weird things, because you're like, oh, maybe I should grab some of these guys, I need another pot, and then the pots don't look the same. Like over there, I try to keep the pots the same, also those beige pots. So I don't know, just to keep it looking nice. This is a Cadota fig. She always puts out like 20 or 30 Breba, 20 or 30 main crop, and half of them fall off, but they're really good figs. This is, oh, the improved brown turkey. So brown turkey figs get a bad rep. Everyone's like, oh, whatever. But I live in California, so I guess I need to bring her more this way. We do have the fig wasp, and yes, there's a wasp, a little tiny animal that will crawl inside your fig and make its babies, and then they basically die in there, okay? The only one that comes back out, I think, is like a female. No, something weird about it. It's just weird. So anyway, look at her figs. She's a very reliable, pretty, and a huge fig. Oh, what is this? Aw, this thing went right through my leaf. And so that makes it a better fig because the wasp fertilizes it and it's a yummy, yummy fig. What do they call it? Caprification, I guess, or something. I can't even remember right now. And this is a green fig that is mislabeled. I picked it up at Lowe's and they are tripping. Whatever it says on here, Turkish fig, there's no such thing as a Turkish fig. It's a green fig. I think it definitely needs to be some kind of fig that you would have the wasp with. Anyway, I'm not going to say too much more about that. Pretty little cactus arrangement I bought just like this at Green Thumb. So, still there. These guys, I have grown some from cutting, some from a plant, but they were tiny. And so they've done all this stuff. These are dragon fruit. We will see what happens this year if I get any dragon fruit. They do have a little bit of, what's this stuff called? I can't think of it. It doesn't matter. Ew, what kind of bug is that? I don't care for bugs. But, I don't know, but I use copper fungicide. Fungus, there you go. It's not really a fungus, but something like that. I guess it is a fungus. Spores, I don't know. But see how they look when they first come out? So cute, and then some of those will make fruit, and some will come out and make yourself a big, more piece of dragon fruit. Okay, more figs. I'm not going to name each one, mostly because these are all from cuttings, and then guess what? I lost the tags, so I don't know what this is. It does say that it's, I don't even know what I wrote on there. The tag is there, but maybe Italian honey. So a green fig. Some other kind of little fig. Oh, these little shamrocks that came back year to year apparently, and I didn't know, but these shamrock things are bulbs, which is weird. So I think that's a weird thing for something that looks interesting. So I was trying to pull these grasses, but when I pull the grass, I pull the shamrocks too. So I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it alone. That is some kind of annual that is coming back for some reason. Again, San Diego things don't really die off too much. All of these are melisses, I think, which is a royal Greek fig, Basilica melissi. And I think I have an MBVS in here too. So that's good. And then some other, I don't even know, you guys, but I don't care. I just eat them. They come up, they look great. Carnations that are coming back that are just in, like, I've had a video where I showed you guys how I made this bench. And yeah, I mean, they're looking great. It's looking great. Nothing's wrong with it. Now we have even heavier pots on it and it's fine. Everything's great with that. So here's our, this also is I think of melissi, Basilica melissi. The little shamrocks are so pretty, and then the little purple flower they make, you guys, so cute. I've seen these on HSN, which is weird that you can purchase, but anyway. Yeah, purple shamrock it says. And then these are carnations that are coming back, and I haven't even trimmed them, I haven't touched them. They're still in the same little pot that I bought them in, and they're doing great. A papaya. I had 3 papaya, because the way they sell them at Home Depot is in a bunch of 3, and I saw this guy say, that's a weird thing, I've never seen them growing that close. You shouldn't have them that close, so, So I separated them, but when you separate papaya, you have to be very careful. So 2 of them, actually one just recently died, like literally days ago. I was just like, you know what, I'm done with this one, it doesn't look good. So I pulled him out, he was in this pot. They have a taproot. So I think the difference between that guy and what happens with this guy is that this guy was in a pot that definitely has a bottom. That guy, I cut the bottom of the pot out, and then, so I thought, if he wants to go through down into the dirt, fine, but I'm not gonna dig it, So, apparently he's doing better, I don't know. And snails and slugs were eating all his little leaves, so I had to put out some stuff, spraying with my Captain Jack and things, and now look at the little leaves are coming back. So hopefully that's a hermaphroditic papaya, because the problem with papaya, that's why you have 3. You need a male and a female or a hermaphroditic one, and so we will see what happens. I might just have a pretty plant, and that's not going to give me anything. These are cantaloupe that I decided to put in there, so we'll see how those do. Some flowers, some roses just for prettiness, daylilies. This one's coming back really strong, and then those guys are really tiny, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But San Marzano tomatoes I decided I need to put in there. These are 2 chiles are on their 3rd year. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and remove this. Sorry. Hold on. Oh, okay. And so they're just now coming back. They're making chiles before they even decided to put out, this one's not going to be any good. It's tiny and it's red already, which means it's ripe, so let's get rid of that guy. I need to fertilize them a little bit and get them going for this season. All San Marzano tomatoes because they're awesome. I love San Marzanos, and bought a 6-pack and put them all in. And again, we talked about the bok choy, which was great. And to finish off some of my citrus, this is my 3rd passion fruit, and it's doing great. It's trying to hold on to This little guy. What's funny about this, I started this one from a cutting that was about this long, and it took probably 4 months before it really rooted. I would just water it when I was watering everything else in a little pot, and then finally one day I realized it's actually growing. It looks longer. I'm like, oh great. So this is the first one we put in the ground, and it has literally, from like that area, has grown all of this basically over winter time. So I don't know. There she is. A sweet lime. It's not a very common fruit. Citrus. I love these. They're awesome. It completely defoliated for some reason. Obviously there's some transplant shock and things of getting in the ground. This ground is horrible. There used to be that palm here. We ended up putting more garden soil here, so it's very loose. So I have a feeling the plant is just trying to get its roots going and like hold on, you know, because it's a very interesting spot here. She looked great until just recently she lost her leaves, but that's happened with a lot of my citrus, and I'm not freaking out because they come back and it's fine. It might be though grubs, so I'm going to put some beneficial nematodes here and here. And even when I put those San Marzanos in, I found some grubs in there, so I'm going to put some beneficial nematodes in there too, just to kill those things off. And then this is an Oro Blanco grapefruit. She looked awesome. I don't know what happened. Again, she also lost her leaves. Again, I think they're just trying to figure their way through this mess, because look at all this new growth that she's bringing on, which is great. Yeah, she just lost her stuff. I mean, it happens. Lots of flowers on there. These are volunteer tomatoes, but what's awesome about that, and I Instagrammed it, is there was, I think, 5 of them. I was cleaning and pulling weeds here because I wanted to get this bed going, and I realized, I was like, this is like tomato. I don't know. I pulled one, I pulled another one, and then finally when I was gonna pull the third, I'm like, you know what? I think this is a tomato. I was telling my husband, I said, well, let's just leave it and see what happens. That's kind of over winter, and so all I did was a few days later, I put some cages there, and literally have just let it grow feral. I don't care, these 2 tomato plants. But what's cool is that since they've been here, they're doing, I literally haven't even fertilized them, but again, this was new garden soil, so I'm sure it came with some fertilizer and good stuff in there. She's way ahead of the game, so she's been giving me tomatoes. I don't know if you can see that tomato that's right there. There's a whole bunch of them here that are just starting to go off. Like, look at that. I've been eating them in sandwiches, so she's way ahead of the game. So I'm like, you know what? Let this tomato be. Let him do its thing. I will thank her. And in the back I have a sugar cane that I got from my dad, and I just stuck it in some pot with in a pot with some dirt when I got home. And then after a while, I don't know if it rooted or not, but I just put it in the ground, and she's shooting up all kinds of sugarcane stalks there. So I thought that was just a fun thing to do. I did sprinkle in some sunflower seeds in there to see if maybe I'll get some sunflowers coming up, which would be really nice. I did this all by myself the other day, you guys. I pulled all the weeds. I topped it off with more garden soil. I added this landscaping thing because what I want to do here is build it up, so I'll have like a little wall, but not a huge wall, just a little retaining wall, not too high, and then just really fill it in with dirt and let hopefully the citrus get down deep into the ground that's there, and then the dirt that I put in is just for extra. But I can't do it all by myself, so for now I just did this work so it looks nice and crisp. I probably need to do the same thing over there, but I'm just so tired. I'm like, you know what, I'm good for now. Oh, now the sun's about where I need it. And I think this is our last thing. So a Eureka lemon. What's funny about this lemon is I bought it, so we've been at this house, it'll be 3 years in October. I bought this one of the first, like, you know, that first kind of winter that we were here, and it was on clearance at Walmart for like 13 bucks. She looked really bad. I was like, well, she'll be fine, I'm sure, because she had her leaves. She just didn't have any fruit or anything going. She defoliated, she's throwing out all kinds of what's it called, like sports or like suckers, like just ridiculous, right, all the time. And then all of a sudden everything just clicked. She is like, look at this fruit. I'm telling you, she has her new fruits, she has new flowers coming on, she's got the lemons I can use now, and I just wait for them to fall off, to be honest. That way I know they are ready to go. Like this one looks yellow, but it's not. It's a little bit green, where this one right here looks like it's pretty much ready. They're so juicy, so apparently the way I water it, everything's great, so that's awesome. I did have another tangerine here that died, and I was wondering if it's the grubs, because grubs will eat your roots, and the plant is just like trying to make more roots, and it's not working, you know. And then I had another one, a tangerine in the front yard, that also died on me after it did its thing basically a few months ago. So really weird. So I do want to keep an eye on that. She's looking great. I just keep her trimmed up and trying to, it's gonna be awesome. When this thing is just doing its thing, it's my favorite thing. And this is a Mexican lime, which I love Mexican limes. It's not a bear slime, it's not anything, it's a Mexican lime. Has defoliated, come back, defoliated, come back. This is one of the first trees I've ever bought, and it was in a pot. And actually all three of these guys, not that guy, I always put him right in the ground because I was like, you know what, let him and Jesus take the wheel, right? We'll put her in the pot in the ground, and if she goes, she goes, you know? But those guys were always in pots. And this guy's always defoliating. This is the first like solid year that it didn't defoliate on me, so that's really nice. And now she has her little limes. They don't get too much bigger than this. I mean, they get about this big. So I have like probably 4 or 5 limes. That's the first time I've gotten 4 or 5. I usually get 1 or 2. And then she always puts out tons of the little flowers, you know. And we'll see how many she hangs on to this next cycle, right? So as these guys are maturing, these new ones will come up, and hopefully she's just on her way. I mean, look how thin her little stake is. And then a lot of people are like, just take it all off. You're supposed to let them get their roots. I don't care. Let the plant do what it's going to do. Like in nature, was somebody over there trimming it? No, it just grows, right? So I just leave things alone as much as I can. All right, guys, I think that's it. My goodness. Woo. All right. Well, have a good night or good day or whenever it is that you're watching this. I'll follow up, you know, later in the season, and maybe you'll see some differences from last year a little bit, like that water fountain too, and then obviously the size of the plants. Everything's way bigger. And it looks so nice in early spring. Like right now I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, this is so pretty, my little arbor. Like, and then just, it'll get, you know, it gets crazy. So it's getting crazy. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you at the next one. Bye now. I was just taking pictures and I was just looking at the palms. You gotta love sunny Southern California. If it was quiet enough and my neighbors weren't laughing over there in the traffic, you can hear the palms swaying. I love it. Guys, there's just too much in the garden, you know. Again, taking pictures, I was like, oh, you know what? I bet you that passion fruit is closed up, and sure enough, it's closed up, but he's caught on this guy, so hopefully that'll be okay. I kind of moved this guy over because his little leaf, you know, his little calyx couldn't come in because it was stuck to this guy. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll take a picture of that passion fruit that was here. I'm like, hey, where's my passion fruit? It's right here. So it is ripe because it fell off and it's ready to go. Isn't that funny? From this morning, whenever I started this video this morning. That is so awesome. So I'm gonna bring this in. The kids will love it. It's gonna be juicy and awesome. I'll have pictures for you guys, but I'll leave it at that. All right, now goodbye. We'll talk about this, but look at this, how cute. And like I said, juicy, and oh, you know what? Sometimes they're sour even when they are ripe. This is just sweet and awesome. Oh my gosh, you know, I think this is probably the best one yet. Anyway, so last season we had quite a few of both varieties, the Red Rover, or like Giant Passifiora or whatever. It's just like a bigger one. And then the Nancy Garrison. So the one that I have that I put in the ground is called Frederick, and that's like the most common one you might find. But this is awesome. Oh, and it smells so good. It smells like roses, which is weird because, you know, I don't really like rosy, perfumey foods or things like that. But it just, it smells awesome. Like I'm a good 2 feet away from it, you know, and I can smell it. And then, yeah, so Miranda really wanted to eat it, so I cut it open for her. And all she's going to do is just take a little spoon like this and just smash it up, and just eat it. So,
and I'm here.
And you're here, huh? You're ready. All right. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye again. Bye.